The following game has no ESRB rating, nor is there any sort of listing for restrictive content found within the game's description on Steam. From what I've played so far, while it is a aircraft combat game, there isn't really any blood or gore, even though there is violence and the fact that you're basically shooting down various aircraft and ground installations. So, were I to guess, if it were to have been given an ESRB rating, I would assume that it would be rated T for teen. However, that is just my opinion and uneducated assumption. So that being said, I would assume anyone under the age of 13 should not be watching this video. You have been warned.
Greetings and salutations, I am Outlier in a video. Welcome to this channel. Joining me today is, of course, my usual co-hosts, Snowball and Wolf. And today we are going to be playing Project Wingman. No, this is not some sort of scientific project where we give men wings. Well, the premise of Project Wingman is that it is an air combat game. Well, I mean, there are some simulated aspects of it, but given the amount of ordnance the plane carries, I'm not certain you can call it an air combat simulation. But then again, I'm not entirely certain what the difference is between the two. I mean, I know what the difference between a simulation and a non-simulation is, but still, it's, at least in my opinion, up in the air. But that's not important, because the point of the game is that you're part of a mercenary air wing fighting in, I guess, Western Canada and the United States in a parallel world where some sort of massive catastrophe has happened. I believe an asteroid strike actually hit the planet. It's listed in the background information for the lore. But it's been a while since I last touched this game, so I don't remember off the top of my head. I do know that a catastrophe happened. World as we know it ceased to exist at that point. Well, the political world as we know it and national boundaries as we know them ceased to exist at that point, and in rebuilding, various other countries were born, and a whole manner of stuff happened. And your mercenary air wing is called into a ongoing war between two countries for what few natural resources remain. It's an interesting game. I like it. I'm more of a helicopter fan myself, but I've been able to at least survive the first two missions in a fixed-wing aircraft. However, that also is a moot point, and we'll see how the game plays as we play it. As such, this game is, of course, made by... Thank you again. And that being said, let us begin.
So the game is split off into two different modes, for lack of a better term. One is Conquest, which is at least according to their Steam page, a roguelike endeavor as you fight across, I guess, Alaska and the western coast, eventually building up your own army, and I'm assuming if you get taken out, you gotta start all over again, hence the term roguelike. Whereas the campaign is the actual storyline of the game. And I like stories in games. I'm a big fan of storylines. It's pretty much predominantly the main way that I play. So I'm going to start off with the campaign first. So I have actually completed the first two missions of this campaign. But I guess we can start over at the very beginning. I'm not certain if progress carries over, but I unlocked literally only one plane. So I'm not losing much if it doesn't. So let's go with normal because I'm not a complete psychopath. Alright, generations ago, a global cataclysmic event scorched the world whole. Newly exposed and volatile material combined with an earth-shattering tectonic collapse, dismantling civilization whole. The world order was destroyed. History as we know it changed forever. Well, technically, history wouldn't change because it's already written. But from the ashes, a new era began. Hundreds of years have passed, and yet we're still using modern technology. Humanity is now in the time known as after calamity. AC 432, January 9th. Mercenary Detail, Mercenary Agency, Sicario Corp, that's our mercenary group. Squadron, Hitman Team, Squadron Number 1, TAC name Monarch. That's us. Alright, so Sicario
contract with this backwater place is just about to come to an end. And, well, thank God. I don't mind a tropical vacation every once in a while, but it's not very glamorous, considering we're here to work. Anyway, one last thing before the defense minister releases our contract, and we move on to bigger and better. Hitman Team, you haven't gotten all that much airtime this deployment, so you're taking point with this operation.
We have confirmed the location of the Burlock Privateer headquarters off the coast on the southwestern edge of the Jesta Island chain. They're a mercenary group like us who unfortunately have turned to outright piracy. According to surveillance data, we have determined that they are the culprit of the recent high-profile hijacking of the Federation-registered cargo ship May Lynx. The May Lynx is supposedly carrying volatile cargo belonging to the Federation's Department of Global Energy and Sustainability Office. Nothing specific from the Federation contact about the cargo, however, our orders are to retrieve it if possible, or to neutralize it if we can't. Attempts to negotiate for it have turned up with nothing, so we're going in. Hitman Team, you are to approach the island from the south along with support and establish control over the area. Your objective is to eliminate any surrounding anti-air and resistance on the island. After that, secure an LZ for our operator group Ronin to ascertain the cargo. Once Ronin lands, maintain air superiority until the next stage of the operation is determined. Be aware that the Burlocks have other Merc pilots on tap, so enemy reinforcements could be a factor.
Normally, we'd stay out of contact with any Federation-adjacent taskings. But this is the last thing we need to do for our current contract, so I'll let it slide. Two birds with one stone. Easy enough, right? Now get to work. Dismissed.
Alright, so basically former mercenaries.
If they've turned to banditry, they're no longer mercenaries. Although technically it's a small distinction. Basically, mercenaries are under contract to fight, and they still theoretically uphold the law, whereas pirates, well, bandits or pirates in this case, don't.
So anyway, it's basically hit the former mercenaries, now pirates, take out all the little patrol boats, or pontoon boats? What's PT stand for? Patrol torpedo boats, I think, as well as any and all aircraft. Have the Ronin strike team come in, which our NPC characters, have them ascertain and/or secure the cargo, and take out any reinforcements that show up. So that's basically the gist of it, so let's start. Wrong button. There we go. Now if I can remember how to fly. Okay, so we actually get mission briefing. Well, we can do the mission again, we can start, or we can access files. So real quick, if we look at pilot entries, so we're actually part of a three-plane team. Hitman 1 is us, known as Monarch. There's also Hitman 2 Diplomat, who is the son of a Cascadian political dynasty. It's basically his background. Basically, he's of the upper echelons of, I guess, society of his country. Yeah, he was in the Federation military, and then he decided to, well, not fight for a government. So he basically joined Sicario and is now the second pilot in this wing. Whereas we also have Hitman 3, known as Comic, and she is born of a family of immigrant workers from a lesser developed North American state. She eventually moved to Cascadia's Pacific Northwest, and all that fun stuff. She used to be part of Cascadia's National Guard, and then she apparently she botched a mission and then joined us. There's also President, who is the WSO, or I forget the exact meaning of this acronym, but basically, if I fly a plane that has two seats, President is the person that takes the second seat. In real life, if a plane has two seats, I believe the first person both flies and mans the weapons of the aircraft, whereas the person in the second seat manages the radio, radar, and basic threat detection. So basically, if we fly a two-seater, President is the person in the second seat, which I just said. So that's basically the gist of the team. There's also Kaiser, who's basically in charge of Sicario. There's also Galaxy, who is the AWACS controller, who's basically the command and control operator. So he basically sits in the very big plane with a very big radar dish, telling us where things are. And that's basically the gist of. Oh, there's also the Ronin team, which is the special operations force. There's also the Assassins team, which is the primary aircraft wing. Hitman team, which is us, and then Guznel Squadron, which is the, I guess, the backbone squadron. I haven't gotten too far in where they talk about Gunsel yet. I'm not even certain if Gunsel is how it's pronounced correctly, but that's the general basics of the people that the character works with and fights alongside. There's also plenty of other entries, but because I haven't actually gotten around to much of the game on when not filming, I haven't unlocked them yet, so there's that. I just wanted to mention that because the names will pop up in the mission, and I don't feel like stopping to talk about it.
Well, yes, there's that too.
Anyway, let's start. Okay, so it actually looks like we do get to keep our progress. So technically, if you start from the very beginning, if I were to say reset progress, which I didn't do, I would only have access to two different aircraft. The T-21, which is the trainer aircraft, which only has one special weapon, which is basically a gas tank, which you can drop upon the ground and it explodes. There's also the TF-4, which is also a training aircraft, and again, it only has one special weapon slot, and it's an unguided bomb as opposed to a makeshift gas tank. You can also unlock two other aircraft, the MiG-21, which is an interceptor, which only has one special weapon slot, although it can fit a variety of different missiles, and the SV-37 strike aircraft, which has two weapon slots, which one appears to be mostly anti-air and possibly a whatever the AMS one is. Haven't unlocked it, so I actually don't see it. And then a second slot, which can be a mixture of anti-air and anti-ground weapons. Although the one aircraft that I've been flying recently, or at least mostly in game so far, is the FE-4, which is a strike aircraft, and unlike the others, it actually has 3 weapon slots. One of which contains which can fit anti-air weapons, as well as a multi-purpose missile, which can hit both air and ground targets. One which is just primarily anti-ground weaponry, although it can also fit machine gun pods, and then another anti-air slot. And this is from what I've seen so far, is as close to a balanced aircraft as I've seen. At least in terms of weapons loadout. I do like having the ability to have a weapon for every slot. So it's the main reason why I didn't bother looking at the MiG-21 or the SV-37. Just went for it right for this one. And I haven't had much issues with the aircraft so far. So this is the one that I've generally been flying. I mean, I can unlock the others. You know what? Let's actually go with... Let's go with the one that I normally go with, just simply because I like going with it. Every plane that you fly has standard missiles. That's your default missiles. You always have them. You always have them in a ridiculously large amount, as well as a machine gun.
The reason why aircraft carry machine guns is, from my understanding, I can't remember if it was the Vietnam or the Korean War, but during that war, the standard military doctrine and idea was at the time was that supersonic aircraft with radar-guided missiles didn't need machine guns because they would never get that close. Until during the war, it was discovered that they do in fact get that close, and planes run out of missiles relatively quickly. So ever since then, or at the very least, as far as I know, the U.S. Air Force makes certain every fighter aircraft that it fields has at least one machine gun built into it. Yes, I know. Fun facts. But that's not important to the game, even if I feel it's important to real life, because it's something that I actually learned and feel like sharing.
So as I was saying, for slot number 1, we do have high impact standard missiles, which are basically standard missiles with a bigger weapon, with a bigger warhead, slow travel speed and slower reload rate. But you don't have to get multi-purpose missiles, so I like having them in slot 1. So in slot 2, we have, well, basically anti-ground. Oh, these are the anti-ground bombs and the heavy gun pod. And as much as I don't like unguided bombs, I much prefer laser-guided bombs. I technically like gun pods even less, although they can be useful in certain scenarios. But let's go with the UGB-S-3, which is a small unguided bomb, but it drops 3 of them per, well, weapons fire. And then for slot 3, we have semi-active air missiles, which are high damage, high tracking capability, anti-air weapon. But I basically still have to be pointed at the target in order for them to track the target and hit them. So they're basically, I think the term is laser designated as opposed to fire and forget, which is what the MLAA are, which are multi-lock anti-air missiles, which have a long range and can target multiple aircraft at once. So that's what I go with. And I haven't unlocked any other extra defensive measures, so I always end up with flares. So, and I'm not quite certain what the color scheme is for. I haven't quite figured out how to change that, but this is my standard loadout for the FE-4, so let's get right into it. Alright, so Operation Black Flag.
Roughly airborne warning and control systems aircraft Galaxy. Hitman team, get on the clock.
Hitman 3, comic punching in.
Hitman 2, copy you clear, Galaxy. You gonna let us loose? Just about, Diplomat. Hitman 1, Take your flight on this vector until you start to see targets on the IFF. You are free to engage. Lead the way, Monarch.
Alright, so those...
How about we watch this mission? I wouldn't mind staying a few more days out here.
I have you on record saying that, Prez.
Don't be a snitch again, Galaxy. Hitman 1, Monarch and Prez, ready to roll.
All cons engaged. Rack them up and knock them down.
Alright, so that's...
We have attackers inbound.
Okay, that's weird.
Piss off.
Alright, so that's roll.
I've got a good tone.
Up, down. That's missile.
Ground asset knocked out.
So that's yaw, which means this is power. And we have... These are all our weapons. Let's not fly into the ground. Just waiting for a target lock. There we are.
Missile is
Missile
tracking.
away. And that's gone. And these are the aircraft. That's the unguided bombs. These are our long-range missiles.
Monarch, you're locked on.
Missile away. And because of the fire, they're the fire and forget kind, I don't need to keep paying attention. So... I also have a longer range, so...
Enemy penetrating Cap 1.
I think that's the bad guys.
Monarch,
There we are,
you're good
missile
luck.
away. And I'm pulling up because I'm getting ridiculously close to the ground. Roll over. Down. I think I'm pointing down. Yeah, there we are. Where is... I'd use the camera to actually look to see where I'm going, but I have this fear that if...
Missile is on the way.
I was going to say, I have this fear that if I'm not looking directly in front of the aircraft, I'm going to fly into something. Which isn't to say that I won't fly into anything regardless. I'll fly into pretty much anything. Mostly because I'm not paying attention, because I'm chasing a target or looking at the map. So there's that. Come on. Here we are. Way. Map. That's the target designator. And again, I'm less than 1,000 feet from the deck, which is basically the ground, even though I am technically over water. And one more PT boat is gone.
Ground unit destroyed. Missile is tracking. I'm engaging. Hitman 1 locked on. Keep him guessing.
Enemy down!
Alright, and I took out 2 aircraft at the same time because the MLAA missiles can do that.
Missile away.
Alright, let's not get hit by the AA gunfire. Because even though they are just simply bullets, even bullets can kill. And as we swing around, because fixed-wing aircraft always go forward, because that's how... And I got hit. then we turn around. Fire that.
Radar lock, take him down.
That. They're all gone. Leaves one more. Missile away.
We've got inbound, and reinforcements coming down from due north. Flashing mercenary IFFs. Green light to engage. Defenses are clear. Ronin, move in. Copy all. Drop the rope. In and out real quick. Looks like everyone's scattering.
Missiles away because they're taking off from right there. And then these guys are coming in from, well, farther away. So let's go meet them. Let us say hi. And let us kill them. Missiles away. Alright, so that took out 2 of them.
Fox 2, Fox 2.
Was a bad angle.
Monarch, you're locked on.
Okay, so he used countermeasures to not get hit by my missile. He did not. That's a missile. Missiles are easier to dodge in this game than some of the others that I've played. For that, I am thankful. There goes another one. Did either of those hit? No, they did not. Well, I think they're actually still in transit. Anywho. Let's fire off the big missiles. One down. Probably a bad angle, but I think he's heading towards us, so we're good.
Hit team, stand by until Ronin gives the all clear.
This squad is mission fight Galaxy. I think we're fine by my mark.
Ronin and Galaxy, we've got eyes on target. Looks like some sort of chromium containment chamber. Reading says it's unstable. That bodes well. Copy, Ronin. How much is present? Enough to keep an airship powered for the year, according to our sensors. It's not anything we can carry out of here. Right, one moment. Putting the contact on the line.
Clean the scene. Everything you've witnessed is confidential by Federation decree. Destroy it.
Copy that. Ronin, exfiltrate. You heard that, Monarch? Highlighting a new target on your IFF. Blow it when they're out. Where are you, Galaxy? You're good, man.
Alright, so we'll just hit the lighthouse with the missiles because I feel like it. And everything else gets hit with the unguided bombs because I really don't like unguided bombs.
Separation, bombs away.
Alright, so I dropped basically 6 bombs and only took out 2 targets. So basically I gotta get it in with this circle before it drops. Those last 2, 3 won't actually do anything. But we took out a comm tower this time, that's always fun. And then just fly around for another pass. And we're already past.
Guns, guns, guns.
So we're just going to fly out a little bit further. That way we get a longer, I would say lead time, but it's more of an approach to the target. think that was the actual mission critical thing that I needed to hit. It's supposed to the substation, which is this thing right here. And again, we're already past it. So since this is starting to irk me, I'm going to do one more pass and then I'm switching to the guided toys. That actually hit. Okay then. So all that's left is the primary objective, which is this cargo container. So I think it's a cargo container. It just says cargo on it. So. Here we are.
Monarch bombs away.
And now we pull up and run away.
Right on target.
Because, give it a minute. There's that.
What the hell? Whoa! I felt that in my teeth. Oh, damn, Monarch.
Objectives complete, Hitman. RTB at your leisure. Think the water's still alright? We still got sunshine by the time we RTB.
Just drop out and become a surfer or something, you bomb.
Oh yeah, me, you, and Flight Lead here just running a little beach ball on a gentrified resort built from our blood money. Sound good, Monarch? Hold that thought. We've got inbound from due north. Same areas before. Fighters approaching the flight to your direct south. Flash item or we will flag you as hostiles. Easy, easy. Flashing IFF. We're just the help, and by the looks of it, late to the Burlock posse. You hired by those mercs in the fort, bud? Past tense now, yes. We got no beef with you. It's your business, I'm sure you guys understand. Put me on, Galaxy. This is Assassin 1, call sign Kaiser. I'm the leader of the Sicario Mercenary Corps. We do understand your situation. Sorry about losing your revenue stream, gentlemen. But you know how this business goes. Don't sweat it. We're about to break off and go west anyway, towards Cascadia.
Cascadia.
Yeah, haven't you heard? Civil war against the Federation. Some rogue Cascadia ambassador's been isle-hopping, dropping off contracts and information all day. Yeah, rebels need bucks, I need a job. Master goes one, now. You see, that's a team name that sounds fun to have. Right, boss? Boss?
So what are these? Oh, that's Ronan.
Interesting.
But anyway, that's over in the left corner is what we did.
The money came through from this contract, and our opportunities in this region have just about dried up. If no one objects, and your contract with Sicario is still in effect, pack your bags. I looked a little into the Cascadian situation, and I believe we'll make a little something of ourselves there.
Alright, so that whole Mother Goose dialogue at the very end of the mission, I believe, was just to set up why we're playing the rest of the game. So this is everything that we did. We took out a whole bunch of ground targets, took out a whole bunch of air units. Our friends killed a bunch of TPT boats and AA guns. And so we got a maximum payout of 8,060, which I then used to buy new planes.
Sicario is moving west, ladies and gents. Information coming out of country has been spotty, but, well, let's just say there's a demand for people of our pedigree. The Federation's been eyeing a takeover of Cascadia's resources for years, as far as I remember. And it seems the Cascadians weren't going to take it lying down, based on what info has been leaked out. For those of you who don't know, Cascadia is a nation along North America's western seaboard, one of the largest on Earth, and one of the most prosperous due to its abundant natural resources and geothermal energy deposits. I've never been, but I hear it's beautiful. A country with limitless energy at its fingertips. I know some of us who were born out here in the periphery can't even imagine it, but I'm sure this hits closer to home for some of you. Moving along. There's a communications blackout both in and out of the country. And as far as the international news goes, nothing is going on except a few riots. Based on the mercenary networks, however, that is a complete lie. A full-blown conflict is proceeding. We've reached out and were given a rendezvous by a Cascadian group called the Independence Force, the main anti-Federation group recognized by the national government. I presume the Federation has the borders on lockdown to stop people like us from coming in, so stay on our toes. If we get found out by a patrol, we'll send one of our flights off to take care of them.
Sicario is moving northwest towards a rendezvous point set by Cascadia's Independence Force. We don't expect any heavy resistance given our route of ingress. However, each of our fighter groups will be pulling shifts to preserve fuel and ammo. Hitman team, you will be responsible for the last leg of the journey, which will take us over into Cascadia proper. Be prepared to intercept border patrols.
I know some of you might not be too enthused to be fighting the Federation, so I invite you to leave with what you have of your contract. You'd only slow us down.
Well, that last bit was blunt. And of course we get the last leg because that's where the mission is. But that's the whole gist of the background between the conflict. As I said, cataclysm happened a couple centuries ago. The world changed forever. This federation is apparently trying to take over a variety of places, at least from what I recall from the background information. And Cascadia said no, and decided to hire mercenaries to augment its military. So there's that. Alright, so let's start the mission. So I know for a fact that there aren't any ground targets in this mission, so I technically don't need so I don't need air-to-ground bombs. And while as much as I enjoy the FE-4, I'm actually tempted, mostly for video recording purposes, to actually try a different aircraft. I mean, I can still get the multi-purpose missiles and the MLAAs for the SV-37, so let's actually try out this plane. Okay, so the ASM is actually an anti-ship missile. And by anti-ship, it means anti-airship as opposed to anti-sea ship. And the STDM is the standard missile, which I believe I normally carry. It would just get me, I guess, double the loadout for that. And I know that there is actually an airship on this one, so let's actually go with the ASM and actually get multi-lock anti-ground missiles on this guy. But as I said before, it's only aircraft, so let's go with the multi-lock anti-aircraft because the other one is the semi-active one. So let's go with that. Again, flares is the only defensive module I have, so let's take this bird out for a spin. Should have read that. We're basically in crossing the Yellowstone exclusion zone. Well, this is different, but then again, new plane. So Frontiers 24 days after the start of Cascadian conflict.
We have interceptors coming up the rear. Hitman and Angle Gunsel planes. Vector to intercept before they get close.
Hitman 1, take point. We'll play backup.
This is Hitman 2. Weapon safeties are off. Let's see how much Federation planes pay out.
Is our targeting system updated to lock on Federation signatures?
I've had them programmed long before we thought about coming this way. Hitman team, we're clear to engage. Alright, Monarch. I don't want to be the first to commit high treason, so on you.
That sounds fair.
If
Missiles away. Today we go to war. And they miss.
Looks like it's true. The Federation is weapons free in Cascadia. Even when we crossed into other Federation states illegally, they didn't dare open fire on us like this.
We're expecting flight lancers and smugglers, not an actual fighting group. What gives?
We're sending an envoy up to order. Stand by.
So they weren't expecting us. We were kind of expecting them. There we are. Missiles away. Usually takes 2 standard missiles to kill an aircraft, so I always fire them in tandem. Also, you never want to fire out towards the sides of the aircraft, and that was the cannon that missed. That's a missile. I really should pay attention to what's flying around me. Where am I? There we are.
Hitman 1, locked on.
One down.
Lasers down. Cleared for guns. On the defensive.
Now we chase the rabbit, as I like to call it. That's not an actual designated military term, as far as I know.
Missile shot off.
Alright, so the easiest way to dodge a missile is have it on your side and turn into it, which is why the first 2 volleys missed,
Warning, missile inbound.
whereas the third one hit. Because the first 2 were basically above it, and the final one was basically behind, much as this one is now. Although he still managed to turn into it, so they missed.
Monarch, the enemy's locking onto you.
Come on.
Enemy's got a bead on you, Monarch.
Okay, so this guy seems to want to fight, so let us fight. Where are you? There you are.
Hitman 1, locked on. Monarch,
And you're
shot
dead.
down.
You seem closer in front, so you're my next target. Do have to keep track of the range, so. Oh, more enemies are inbound, goody.
Fox 2, Fox 2. Guns, guns, guns.
Countermeasures.
Missile is tracking.
Ground. Now I'm behind him. And he's dead. Who's next? And he goes bye-bye. As I fly through his debris.
Incoming bogeys. Fox 3, Fox 3.
And they may miss.
I like this.
And they missed.
Fox 2, good separation.
They did not. They did.
Warning's going off. Someone's on me.
Where are you? There you are. Goodbye. Next. That's a missile alert. So who's... guessing you. He's the only one that was pointed in my direction.
Monarch, good release. Fox 2. You're on the money.
Managed to avoid 2 missiles, I think.
Fox 3.
They all missed. Okay. It was kind of a last minute thing. Can't even see if I'm actually pointed at the thing, but it's a cloud in the way. And I missed.
Monarch, you're locked on.
There he goes. Alright, so in case anybody's wondering, the big circle that sometimes appears is the gun sight. So, as I said, every aircraft nowadays, at least for the U.S. Air Force, as far as I know, comes equipped with a cannon. Every plane in-game does as well, and if you want to hit anything with a cannon, you basically gotta point it at the circle. I find missiles are better. So. Also, it's difficult to get the aircraft in said circle.
Missile is tracking.
I was not paying attention. And I got hit with a missile as he hit. Alright, so we got quite a few.
With a private security corporation called Sicario. We need specifics, Command. It's a smaller size mercenary group that specializes in aerial operations, active along the periphery. It's still combing through the records, but it's thin.
There we are.
We're not equipped to deal with them. Send reinforcements. Copy, stand by. Hitman 1, good tone. Mercenaries.
This is the way. Hey. We're usually better at it than this.
Hitman 1 locked on. Fox 2.
Usually being the optimum word. I'm fairly... Okay, I was going to say those had missed. One of them hit. And he's gone. Get back here. And you're dead. Next one. I think they flew off to God knows where. Where are you? Right. So this priority target. He just got taken out by somebody else. So I killed him. And he's dead.
Hitman 1, Fox 2.
High value target down. We got Galaxy?
We just lost contact with Blue Squadron's flight in this area. Destroyer Espadon, advise disengagement. We've got eyes on the perpetrators. Only 2 small flights. We can take them. Escorts, we're into screening pass at Alpha. Federation airship tagged and marked. Hitman team, this one's all yours. An airship
Alright, so
intercepts. What the hell is the Federation so afraid of?
us apparently.
Action 7 plus. Now buck up. We're taking this thing down.
This was away.
Hitman 1, good zone.
Alright, so apparently one of those controlled the flares, the other controlled the external camera. Don't know which was which. Wrong missiles. Oh, and this one is bad. But we're firing anyway. And he's gone. Alright, I should not have fired those missiles. Because there's even more, there's still aircraft in the general area. So I should probably take care of these guys first, before I take out the long-range targets. Where are you? Seriously, where are you? Yeah, there was somebody.
Hitman 1 within gun range. Monarch, good luck. Confirmed enemy kill.
Alright, I believe the white target is the airship.
Hitman 1, good zone.
So I'm going to fire off the anti-airship missiles. And blow it up. And it's gone. That of course missed. But I got plenty of missiles as far as I know. Here goes that guy. One target left. Take him if you want. I don't care. I'm still flying almost half a ship. Well, half a plane anyway. Where are you?
Positive
There you
tone.
are. And you're gone. That's everybody as far as I know.
Nice shooting, Monarch. Good to know we still know our way around a dogfight.
Guess we're in it now. Hey, Mick, you got any idea what the Federation is doing in Cascadia?
Why the hell do you think I know?
Well, that was interesting. I'd like to point out, most of the times when I got hit by missiles, it was from the front. Alright, so to land, make certain your speed is slightly above stall speed. Brake once you touch ground. Come to complete stop to complete landing sequence. Can we skip takeoff and landing sequences in the pause menu? And I have absolutely no idea where the landing sequence is. Except I think that's it right there. And I am not approaching correctly. You know, if you're going to have a landing... Nope, 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 nope. Stop. Please stop. Nope, that's the ground. You know, if you're going to have a landing mechanic in your game, you really should include, well, for aircraft anyway, you really should include HUD elements to help you find the runway. That's it over there. Doesn't help I don't actually know what the stall speed is for this aircraft. Of course, now I'm flying lateral. No, that's the runway. So now I'm flying laterally to it. There we go. Wow, stall speed's actually relatively slow. And we're down. Surprisingly. I have to admit, last time I played this mission, I did not land. No, I just skipped it because I missed the runway and
Thanks
I couldn't find it again.
Sicario was able to rendezvous with our contact and refuel for the mission ahead. You'll be heading back out within the hour, so stay on your toes, or else your time in Cascadia will be short-lived.
Okay, so we did actually manage to take out the air cruiser. I was curious about that. It's a lot of FC-15s.
Hello, Sicario. I'm Captain Griffiths, otherwise known as Stardust. From now on, I'll be your point of contact with the Cascadian Independence Force. I was a National Guard pilot when it all went down, and now I'm working with you. We're pressed for time, so listen up. Cascadia's prosperity, our natural bounty, has always gone to support the world. For the last few decades, we have done this by our partnership with the Pacific Federation, providing aid and infrastructure to the less fortunate internationally. The Federation, however, in recent years has used the resources we provided to forcefully expand by conquest and military strength. We could not let our cordium or geothermal deposits fuel this war machine. Cascadia as a nation sought independence from the Federation outright, in order to prevent the Federation from imperially expanding further. Unfortunately, they turned against us. They have seen fit to unify and federalize Cascadian infrastructure as a whole. When we resisted, they turned the country inside out. We refuse to let that stand. So, here's the plan for you mercenaries right now.
In northern Cascadia, Rosedower AFB was a joint base used by both the Cascadian National Guard and the Federation. When hostilities took off, however, the Federation seized the base from the National Guard. Your objective today is to take back the base into our hands. Hitman Team will lead aerial operations, wiping out any anti-air defenses. Circus, our transport aircraft carrying Sicario's airborne troop element, will then vector in and drop onto the base to secure it.
Take care not to damage the facilities too much during the attack. Sicario and other mercenary elements will be using this base afterwards. I'm sure you want to operate from an actual base anyway, as opposed to some dirt strip. So let's get rolling.
Alright, so, objective is to take a base practically intact. Looks like there are some sea elements in the form of those cruisers. I don't think those are airships. and whatever LCSs are. I'm assuming light cruisers. There's also some aircraft and anti-aircraft guns. It looks like the air target count's smaller than the ground target count, so I'm going to need something that's anti-ground. I should also point out that this is actually as far as I've gotten so far in this game. So from this point out, everything is new. Fun. Alright, so with the prevalence of ground targets, I should probably take something that has decent anti-ground capabilities. And the FE-4, while it does carry a decent supply of different unguided bombs, I should point out the emphasis on unguided, which means I press the button, the bomb drops, and whatever gravity and air resistance directed to wherever it hits, that's what it hits. So since I want this base intact, dropping a large quantity of unguided munitions probably not the smartest idea. And the MiG-21 does not have any, as far as I can tell, guided munitions, although the MGP I think is actually a gun pod. You know what? Let's actually purchase the plane. And take a look. So URS is unguided rockets. Fires a volley of rockets where the plane's nose is pointed. So that's even worse. Alright, so we're not using this plane, probably ever. And so let's go with the SV-37, just simply because its Weapon 2 slot contains multi-lock-on anti-ground missiles. And that's what I'm going to be using to take out the ground targets. And, well, slot 1 gets MLAAs, so we'll select those as opposed to the anti-ship missiles. Because I don't think there's a airship in the area. I don't know if the anti-ship missiles work against seacraft. Oops, wrong button. I mean, maybe. Let's go take them just in case. And well, I have standard missiles for aircraft, so I think most of the MLAAs missed anyway last mission. So let's go with multi-lock on ground targets. Yeah, it doesn't have a third weapon slot, so no third missile. So let's go. So maximize throttle takeoff, use your rudder axe to control the aircraft while on the ground, leave the airspace completely to takeoff sequence. You can always skip takeoff and landing. So now we actually get to take off. So we should just start driving down the runway, gaining speed and gaining speed and gaining speed, and eventually, if I pull up, we take off. And off we go. Now, I have absolutely no idea if I actually have to fly to the target or if this is just what it does. Apparently, that's just what it does, so...
Rose Tower AFB on the nose. Wingman, you're already warmed up, so you're back on point. Soften the place up, but try to keep the good stuff standing.
Make no promises.
Engage. Approaching Rose Tower.
Hitman's not doing so bad today. For being the rest of the winner.
Monarch never
Buddy.
disappoints, that's for sure. All airborne, prepare for a hot drop.
This is the way. And I'm flying through my own weapon exhaust.
Monarch missile shot. Taking a contract here of all places. Know what they say about all roads, right, Mick?
Not now, Ted. Not now.
Alright, so I think I missed that last target. So we'll just fly back around. Trying not to fly into the ground. Fire off 2 missiles, and somebody else blows it up as I almost fly into whatever that thing is. Alright, so we got a PT boat. No, for a fact, one missile's good enough to kill these things. It's just I'm currently out of range, so... Why is everything suddenly turning red? As they blow it up. So, back to where we are.
Radar lock, take him down.
Missiles away.
Ground unit destroyed.
One of them, anyway. Man, these missiles take forever to load. Here we go. Alright, well that's a miss, and I'm about to fly into the ground, so... Missile alert. Missed it. Right, no multi-target anti-air gun missiles. It's standard or cannons for the planes.
Enemies on my scope. Monarch, good luck.
One down. I know I'm supposed to technically be targeting the ground targets, but aircraft can be a pain, so... Those two are gone. Where? Oh, I'm actually directly above it.
Warning, missile inbound.
That's not good.
Missile away.
That took that out. Back to doing what I was doing, which is flying a little bit further out, turning around, pointing at my target, and then opening fire. Like thusly. Goodbye.
Hitman 1 within gun range.
Yeah, we are not gonna gun down a ground target.
Monarch, the enemy's locking onto you. Taking damage.
Hey, that missile really takes a long time to load. But I think it's loaded now, so if we just simply turn quickly around, not fly into the ground, we can fire it off. And watch the world die. There we go. Go for it. Alright, you're going to be a problem, aren't you?
You're in gun range.
Come on. And he's gone. Oh, goody, a SAM site. Surface terror missiles. Bane of a plane's existence. Let's not fly into the ground. Where are you? Oh, another SAM site. Rather far out, but
Ground unit knocked out. Hard rock, let it fly.
So there's an airship, but no, that's it.
This contract, boss. Especially since we're going up against the Federation. You should know after all this time with this galaxy. With the other foe, the story.
There he goes again.
I'm not in this for the money, remember? I'm here for the history.
Well, the rest of us are here on binding contracts, so please, just don't get us killed, boss.
That's up to you.
We don't have the firepower to take them on.
What? Power surplus. Just where the hell are these guys?
Apparently a very well-equipped mercenary unit. Goodbye, AA gun.
Ground asset knocked out.
There's another one. Switch to the standard missiles because everything else takes forever to load. And what are you? Oh, you're a plane. Goodbye, Mr. Plane. I said goodbye. I expect you to go bye-bye. You're gone. Moving right along. Okay, so the planes are now taking off. Should have shot them while they were still on the ground.
Radar lock, take him down.
See one anti-ground target. Here we go.
Monarch missile away.
Alright, so those two planes are still on the ground. And I was about to hit the ground, so I'm gonna turn around and open fire.
Missile is on the way. Fox 2, Fox 2.
I guess all that's left is this guy. Sucks to be him. Goodbye. I don't think I hit him.
We need support now.
Okay.
Stock squadron, commencing intercept. Let's get these dogs off our lot.
Emerging to engage. Show me a fight.
We got alarm. We had mercs crossing the border. They're supposed to be that wolf pack.
So clearly these are not normal pilots that we're about to fight and hopefully kill. One down.
Positive tone.
Come on. Get back here. One of them hit. That's a missile. Alright, I don't know where the ground is. There's the ground. Last thing I want to do is keep pulling up and then fly into the ground backwards.
Enemy on radar. Missiles looking on. Going for missile launch.
Still got plenty of missiles.
Radar lock, take him down.
Kind of regretting now using the mainly anti-ground loadout. But I think I killed him. I think.
Cleared for guns.
Nope, that missed.
Stacked
Clock
up.
broke just as I opened fire. Alright, so there you are. Where'd you go? I think I took him out. I don't actually know. That's a missile. There you are. One hit. Now he's dead. Looks like only one left. Maybe possibly two. I don't know what the yellow lines on the very bottom mean. I'm guessing two because I saw that missile come off the map, so... Where's this guy? There's this guy. He's dead. Next one. I wonder. Yeah, okay, the anti-ship missiles don't target mortal planes. And he's gone. You're dead.
Resistance is no factor. You already got the job, Scario. Who are you trying to impress? What can we say, Stardust? You get what you pay for.
I was going to say the next report.
Reserve a nice hangar space for us. You know, in exchange for our good work up here.
There was no such thing as nice this far north. You should know that.
I never flew these skies like you did. Not like this. Airstrip is secured. Outside of the air defenses, there wasn't much else in terms of resistance. The batting outpost knows and electronics, but you're good, boss. Excellent work today, Hitman. You get first pick for hangar and bunks. Hitman,
Everyone.
begin landing sequence. You lucky bastards. Roast hour is ours. Don't make Cascadia regret hiring you all.
Well, unless we lose, you won't. But whichever barracks and hangars close enough to the mess hall. Alright, so where's the runway again?
Hunting today, Monarch? I bet. Come on in.
I think that's the airstrip right in front of me. So kind of them to actually put me directly in front of it this time, and I could actually see it, so always fun. Nope, nope. There we go. Well, when I can find the runway, landing's definitely easier than some games that I've played. Oh, now the runway appears on the map.
It's rough around the edges, but as far as forward operating bases go, this isn't the worst we've been at. The base didn't sustain too much damage, and there's room enough for everyone, even the other freelance mercs.
The Independence Force of Cascadia is now the collection of true Cascadian sovereignty, and when the time comes, we'll see Cascadia rise to its own liberty without the Federation. I've been instructed by the remnants of our national government to be your liaison for the duration of your contract with us, of which we've sent to Kaiser for you to sign later. To be truthful, I don't agree with your way of life, but you've come to Cascadia to aid us, and for that, I can't complain. We'll pay you what you're due, as long as you give us your best. Get settled in. We need you up in the air soon.
One last thing, everyone. We're going by our TAC names for the duration of this contract. I'm pretty sure my name is public domain in regards to Sicario. However, we've gone to great lengths to keep yours hidden. If you break it, it's on your ass. You know how bounty hunters are if they have a name. Dismissed.
Alright, so for anybody who's concerned, my character's name is Monarch and he has no other name. Well, I wonder if the plane that I'm taking is only a one-seater, and if Prez would add anything to the conversations during that last mission had I taken her along. Or the mission before that, for that matter. I mean, I guess I could replay the mission with the FE-4, or if I unlock another plane after this, a different kind of plane that I know would have a second seat so Prez can tag along. But that's all going to be another issue for another day, because I'm going to call it here.
Everybody stay safe from the plague, and have a good day.